I escaped from a secret cult. What they don't want you to know. There are places in this world that exist right under our noses, hidden in plain sight, where powerful forces operate in the shadows. Forces that pull people in, twist their minds, and force them to follow orders they don't even understand. This isn't some fictional horror story. These are the cold, hard facts about secret cults that operate right here in the modern world. Cults that prey on the vulnerable, offering salvation, only to trap them in a web of lies. And once you're in, the only way out is risking everything, even your life. Have you ever wondered how easy it is to get caught up in something like that? How could someone just like you, be lured into a secret organization with rules and rituals that defy logic? Maybe it starts innocently. Maybe it starts with a promise of belonging, of answers to life's deepest questions. Maybe it even starts with a simple invitation to a meeting. But what happens next will make you question everything you thought you knew about trust, power, and reality itself. Imagine for a moment that you find yourself in the midst of a gathering, your heart racing, a strange, unexplainable pull in your chest as you step into a room of strangers. Their eyes are locked on you, a silent understanding between them, as if they've been waiting for you. You don't know why, but you sense you've crossed a line. You look around. Everyone seems so calm, so controlled. But there's an unease in the air that you can't shake off. You're not just a guest, you're a target. And something inside you whispers, "Get out." The people who are part of these groups are not unlike anyone you know. They're your neighbors, your co-workers, maybe even your family. But they're changed. They speak a different language now. Their eyes hold secrets, and their smiles carry the weight of things you can't begin to understand. Once you become part of it, there's no going back. They don't let you leave, not without a fight. And for those who try, well, some have never been seen again. It all begins innocently, doesn't it? The small promises, the subtle invitations. You tell yourself it's harmless. It's just a weekend retreat, you think. It's just a philosophy gathering. But soon the lines blur. What starts as an introduction to something meaningful soon turns into rituals, symbols that you can't unsee, a system of control that locks you into a mental prison where your every move is guided by an unseen hand. The deeper you get, the more you realize that they don't just want your time. They want your mind, your soul, your loyalty, and if you try to leave, if you try to break free, they will make sure you know the consequences. Ex-members speak in hushed tones about the psychological games, the pressure, the manipulation that comes from their leaders. They will make you doubt yourself, make you believe that leaving is the worst mistake you could ever make. And if you do somehow escape, you'll find yourself hunted. They won't let you go quietly. They never do. You might think that you're too smart, too cautious to fall into this trap, but the reality is far scarier. These cults have mastered the art of persuasion. They know exactly what buttons to push, how to make you feel special, how to make you feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself. They'll promise you answers to life's biggest questions, make you feel like you've found the truth. But the truth, my friend, is much darker than you could imagine. As you sit there in the room, the atmosphere heavy with tension, you realize too late that something isn't right. The people around you, Sando, they're not just followers. They are pawns, their minds twisted, their wills bent to serve something far beyond their understanding. They smile at you, their faces empty, as if they've already given up everything. And that's when it hits you. You're not in control anymore. You never were. This isn't a story you'll hear from mainstream media. The truth is buried deep beneath layers of secrecy, hidden behind smiles, behind doors that have never been opened. It's a world that exists outside the law, a world where they can do things, unspeakable things, and you won't even know until it's too late. So what happened when I tried to leave? What did I uncover? What will you find when you step too close to the truth? In this video, I'll take you behind the curtain. I'll reveal the horrors that cults don't want you to know, the secrets they'll do anything to keep buried, so hold on tight, because this is a journey into darkness, into a world where the price of knowledge is higher than you could ever imagine. What I'm about to show you is not for the faint of heart. Proceed at your own risk, because once you know the truth, there's no turning back. You've heard the whispers, haven't you? People who vanish without a trace, their lives lost to something darker than any of us care to admit. People who, once they left, never came back to the world as we know it. What if I told you that? This isn't just paranoia? That it's not just a bad dream? It's real and it's happening right now. If you've ever wondered what it's like to be trapped in the grasp of a secret cult, then sit back. This is no fairy tale. This is a story of escape, of fear, and of the unsettling truth behind the facade they try to present. It began innocently, didn't it? I was searching for meaning in my life, something I couldn't quite put my finger on. We all do at some point. The questions swirl in your mind. What's the purpose of all this? Why am I here? That nagging feeling that maybe there's more out there, more than the mundane routine of everyday life. The invitation to join was simple. A friend, a colleague, someone who seemed to know something I didn't. At first, it felt like just another gathering, just another group that promised to help me find answers. What harm could it do? But then I walked through the door. The room was dimly lit, with heavy curtains drawn, blocking any trace of the outside world. There were people gathered, their eyes calm, but their smiles too practiced. It was as if they had already passed through something that I hadn't yet understood, something deeper, something darker. They welcomed me with open arms, assured me that I was meant to be there, that they had been waiting for me. But I felt it, the pull, the chill that crept down my spine as I stepped closer to the circle they had formed, the silence thick with unspoken rules. You see, the moment you enter, you're no longer an outsider. You're part of something. Whether you like it or not, you've been marked. The leader spoke, but his words were strange, unsettling. His voice, smooth like velvet, told me I had finally found my truth. His eyes held an intensity that left me breathless. Every word felt like it was wrapped in an invisible thread that tugged at my very soul. It was all too much, too fast. But it wasn't until I was deep inside the group that I realized the truth. They had already begun to change me. The rituals, the symbols, they weren't just metaphors. They were part of the language they spoke. At first, I told myself I could handle it, I could stay in control, but the deeper I went, the less I recognized myself. And once they had your mind, once they had your devotion, escaping was impossible. They didn't need to hold you physically. They didn't need to lock you in a cage. They had the key to your thoughts. And trust me, once they have that, they have you. If you thought you could walk away, think again. They will never let you go. The tactics they use are insidious, designed to make you feel like leaving is the worst decision you could ever make. The manipulation, the mind games, they twist you until you believe that you owe them everything. They make you question your own reality, and if you try to break free, you'll wish you had never tried. I tried to leave. Once I realized what I had gotten myself into, I made the mistake of thinking I could escape. I thought I could break the bonds they had wrapped around my mind, but that's when they showed me just how far they were willing to go. I started receiving strange phone calls, messages, warnings. My own friends, who I thought had left the group, began to disappear. One by one, they stopped answering. No trace. They weren't just leaving. No, they were vanishing. What happens when you try to fight back? They make you disappear too, and they do it quietly, without anyone suspecting a thing. It's been years since I escaped, and I wish I could say that I'm free, but I'm not. The shadows follow me. The whispers are always just behind me. You can never truly escape something like this. Once you know the truth follows you. It's always there, just waiting for you to slip up, to make a mistake, to draw too much attention. So why am I telling you this now? Because you need to know. You need to see what's hidden behind the veil, what these groups don't want you to know. You need to understand that they're not just out there, waiting for the vulnerable to stumble into their grasp. They are already among us. They're in your workplaces, in your neighborhoods, maybe even in your family. And now, after everything, I've uncovered something even darker than I ever imagined. Something I'm not sure I can share, but I will. If you're ready to know the truth, the cost of that knowledge will be higher than you ever thought possible. What happens when you step too close to the edge? What happens when you learn what they're hiding? Keep watching, but be warned. The truth will haunt you. It will never let you go. Proceed with caution, because you can't unknow what you're about to learn. Once you see the darkness, there's no going back.